Early this week, Wendy Davis led a filibuster to attempt to stop some extremely severe restrictions on abortion in Texas. Now, she was successful in at least postponing it. There will be a special session that Rick Perry has called where it will probably be passed. Now, in advance of that special session, Rick Perry had some extremely unfortunate and offensive comments that he wanted to make about State Senator Davis. Let's listen.
The fact is, who are we to say that children born into the worst of circumstances can't grow to live successful lives? In fact, even the woman who filibustered the Senate the other day was born into difficult circumstances. She was the daughter of a single woman. She was a teenage mother herself. She managed to eventually graduate from Harvard Law School and serve in the Texas Senate. It's just unfortunate that she hasn't learned from her own example, that every life must be given a chance to realize its full potential and that every life matters.
So she had life experiences, so how dare she not be pro-life after them?
And by the way, she's a single mother, which means she maybe did learn from an experience because she was a daughter to a single mother, and she decided to keep her child. That's not what this is about, Governor.
And by the way, he misses the point completely. It's not about regressive white men deciding what women do with their bodies. Abortion should be given to women on demand, without apology. It's a private decision between a woman and her doctor. We don't, this, again, like we discussed in the first half, this worldview is on its way out. We should cheer it on its way out. The strategy here isn't about the right kind of medical approved abortion. The strategy, as he said in other scenarios, is the outlaw of abortion procedures, which should be granted without apology and on demand.
And he's going to audiences. I mean, you saw the placard on the front of that podium, National Right to Life Movement. I mean, that's fine. He's going to get a good warm reception there. He didn't get like a sort of crazy reception there, but he got a warm reception. Rick Perry, this comes at a backdrop. Rick Perry's been going to the Northeast. Last week he was in Connecticut, he was in New York, he was in New Hampshire, trying to get businesses to move from the Northeast to Texas, trying to attract business to Texas because of their sort of lenient tax structure there. And why in the world would anybody move their business to Texas? What woman employee or woman business owner would want to go to Texas after you see the circus that's going on there right now? Well, he's fighting a war against women and women's rights to choose.
If you're a business owner who cares nothing about your employees and cares only about tax incentives, you might want to. And there seem to be a lot of those sorts of people in America, unfortunately.
There are, but he isn't getting a great reception.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what it is recently that has led the pro-life movement. They seem to have experienced this major resurgence. Like, they are, not just in Texas, but in Ohio and other states, they're passing very restrictive anti-abortion legislation. I don't know if maybe they feel like they've lost on the anti-gay battle, and this is where they can...
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think they're very smart. They're very good at what they do. They
always
why
have now?
They're trying to, because instead of taking it to the Supreme Court, instead of challenging Roe there, you go to the state legislatures, you work within the states, you spend a lot of money on electing assemblies and state legislatures that are going to be sympathetic to your cause, and you have your victories on the state level, because let's say this happens in Texas and SB 5 happens. There are only going to be 5 abortion clinics in the entire state of Texas.
Right.
Only 5. So that is a victory for them. They don't need Roe v. Wade telling them 24 weeks. When they can make 20 weeks in Texas and close a bunch of clinics, those are their victories.
And the hypocrisy behind this whole worldview is astounding, right? No one has a funeral for a miscarriage, right? We just don't do it. So the kind of so the kind of debate that you have, the nuance about when life begins, is totally shut down when you just wave a Bible around in the air and claim the Word of God, the Word of God.
Right. Yeah. So Wendy Davis did respond to Rick Perry. This is what she said. They are small words that reflect a dark and negative point of view. Our governor should reflect our Texas values. Sadly, Governor Perry fails that test. His comment was without dignity and tarnishes the high office he holds. Without dignity, I think that sums up Rick Perry pretty well. Not just Rick Perry is attacking Wendy Davis, other Texas Republicans are also doing so, because if they didn't make it clear to the women in Texas that they hate you, they want to make it even clearer by spreading it to social media. So here I'm referring to Bill Zedler. He is a state representative, a Republican, and this is what he tweeted in reference to Wendy Davis. we had terrorists in the Texas State Senate opposing SB 5. So he's referring there to they were the crowds, they were cheering and they were roaring, and she was doing her filibuster. That is not the terminology I would use when a woman is giving what I think anyone should label as a very heroic defense of her ideals there.
Right. He also, it's either a terrorist or terrorist.
Yeah, I was gonna,
every time there's like a hateful tweet, they get it wrong. There's like a grammatical mistake.
And that if the people can't come into the House where their representatives are working to voice their opinion, then what do we have left in this country?
Terrorists.
Terrorists.
I try to go easy on the tweets in terms of like the grammar and stuff because you only have the 140 characters, but that one was pretty short.
I think plenty of room.
And
he
deleted it. And if you don't know that a thing called screen grab exists, then you shouldn't be on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like, okay, delete the tweet after you've been yelled at to show that you're remorseful maybe, but when you delete it before you get yelled at, knowing you will get yelled at, that only makes you look worse.
There's one competent staffer who saw the tweet and called him right away and said, get that off Twitter now.
Yeah.
Not before 488 people retweeted it, though. So.
Well, he is idiot.